About to go. We're setting it up now, and we will be live in about 10 seconds.
I'm on your page right now.
All right, cool.
Giving us the opportunity to share. I don't see the share button.
Okay, we are now live. What's happening, everybody? And you are now tuned in to Come Clean Takeover Radio. You know how we do it. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Catch us on one of the platforms that y'all love to listen to. Rough Riders Radio, Street Killers Radio out there in Canada. You know, we got Nerd DJs Radio, 108.1 FM, WNRV, 95.5 FM, WWMV, and so on and so on. I'm not going to go on all those stations, man. It's too many of them.
Yeah, we can't forget Mixed Mafia Radio, too.
Yeah, Mixed Mafia Radio. You know how it goes. But I'm just excited right now. I'm excited. We have a very, very special guest in the building right now. And not too many celebrities excite me, but I grew up listening to this man's music. He helped me make some serious, you know, and I mean, man, YouTube him, Google him. For y'all that may not know, this man could be responsible for you being alive. Man,
for the younger ones, yeah.
Man, bro, let's hear it for my man, RL. RL in the building.
Let's go.
What's going on, man? How y'all doing?
How you feeling, man?
Man, I feel fabulous, man. I'm just happy that y'all have me on, man. It's an honor, man. Thank y'all.
Oh, man, the honor and pleasure is all ours, bro. It's all ours, man. So, you know, I know a lot of people are tripping right now. They're like, man, that's RL. That's the man from Next. I mean, my wife and I this morning, we was just listening to that record, that hit record that you made with Deborah.
Okay, yeah, we can't be friends.
Yeah, we can't be friends.
Man, bro, you tore that record up.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Those is the good old days. Memories, man. Fond memories.
Man. You know, and then I got to listen to the other records. I got to, you know, seeing how everything went during that time with the group and everything else. I mean, you know, tell us about, a lot of them don't know, but so tell us about, you know, the start of Next and you and how everything really evolved. History is important. So, yeah.
Well, I'm from the north side of Minneapolis, and I was in, like, groups all the time. I was a rapper and a singer. So I had a record deal for rapping first, but my first love was always being a vocalist. So I was in a group, and I had met Tilo, who was the oldest member of Next, at his uncle's house, who's like a gospel great where we're from. He's in a group called James Greer Company, where he is James Greer. And I would go to his uncle for advice on harmonies and arrangements, because I didn't really know that stuff like that. And one day his godson was over there, who happened to be Tilo. Well, I remembered him because he was straight hood, you know, dope boy, had the Tilo earring in his ear, gold, like all that, right? But he was living in Phoenix, so he went back out of town. Well, maybe a year later, I ended up talking to, you know, James Greer, and I was asking him about his nephew, and he was like, "It's funny you said that. He's back in town. He's looking for you." I said, "Well, tell him I have a show tomorrow with my group. Come to the show." So he comes to the show and he brings his brother. I was already in a 3-man group, but my 3-man group, him and his brother, who's Tweet, went back to the studio I worked out of. We started vibing and just riffing and messing around. And literally the third member of my group knew that he wasn't talented enough to be in the group anymore. So he literally at that moment was like, "You know what, y'all got this." So it ended up being a 4-man group for a long time. Then we ended up bringing it down to 3-man. And we were discovered first by the group Low Key. "I got a thing for you, baby." That's who discovered us. They were signed to Jimmy and Terry, and they would sneak us out to Flight Time Studios when I was in high school. Like I would literally sleep at the studio, do my homework, and they would sneak us out there. We thought Jimmy and Terry was going to sign us, and they signed a group called Solo instead of us. We sang for them, beatbox, rap, dance, whatever we felt like we had to do, and they just chose not to sign us. Well, maybe a year later, after we had done the demos, we had a show Friday night with Aaliyah at Glam Slam, which is Prince's Club. Come to find out, Saturday night, Naughty by Nature was performing at First Avenue, where they taped Purple Rain in Minnesota. So my group members are at the Mall of America looking for wardrobe. I'm at soundcheck. They running late. I'm at soundcheck with Aaliyah at Glam Slam. They running late. They running to KG. Long story short, they got the demo to KG somehow. And the next day he was on the tour bus after their concert. They invited us to their concert, got the demo from us. They were on the tour bus, and Brother Jules, who was the DJ for New Power Generation, was on the tour bus with Kay. And Kay was like, yo, what's the popping groups? I'm redoing my label. I need some artists. And he seen our demo tape on the table and was like, that's all you need to know. Literally a few weeks later, they had flown us out to New York. We at the Apollo Theater, and then we at Boogie Land in Jersey, and the rest is history.
Wow. So yeah, you guys made a lot of cuts together, man.
Yeah.
Y'all got some serious history. Why don't you tell what was your favorite cut? I gotta ask you, man. Well, and why?
Well, it's hard to say because I was lucky enough to be able to say out the door I was able to write a lot of the material that came out as a 17, 18-year-old kid. That was pretty much unheard of. But I was able to pin a lot of those records. But on the first album, there was a record that I originally wrote for Usher, which was called Stop, Drop, and Roll, which was supposed to go on Usher's album. Well, his album was turned in and it came out sooner than expected. So Clive was like, I need you guys to go in the studio and put that record on the next album. So it was supposed to be the second single, because I never wanted Too Close to be a single. Then they promised it was going to be the third single, and it never ended up being a single, but I loved performing it, back then. But the record I love performing most now is probably the record I wrote for Jaheim, Anything.
You wrote that record?
Wait, what?
I wrote Just in Case. I wrote Anything. I wrote Whatever for Ideal. Whatever you want to do. I wrote quite a bit of records, yeah.
That is lit.
Dig that.
That's why this generation is losing, because no one reads the credits, tapes, or the CDs. I don't know more, because I knew that from looking at the credits. His name is written in there.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, Disspare. Yeah, you're gonna go ahead and put us all up under the bus, right?
Right. You see him?
In the industry, there's a lot of artists now that wrote for a lot of people, like from Smooth B for Bobby Brown to a lot of people because no one really read the credits. No one read who wrote what.
Yeah.
Right.
We was just having that conversation.
And being in a group, the one thing that I always had to do, the sacrifice that I made happily, was letting the focus be on the group. So I was never able to speak on the accolades and the different things that I had done outside of the group. Jamie Foxx, Luther Vandross, Usher, Lloyd, Keith Sweat. I wasn't able to talk about, I did this and did that, because when we were a unit, it was all about what the unit was doing.
Yeah. And a lot of times when that happens, it takes away. Well, I don't want to say it takes away from what the individual that's doing a lot of the work is doing, but they kind of shy back in the background a little bit, because everybody wants to move as a unit, as one,
Right.
as they should. You know what I mean? And these are your brothers.
Yeah, and you got to remember, ego is a fragile thing, and I didn't know this in the beginning. Looking back in retrospect, the biggest mistake I made was not understanding that everybody's not going to be happy for you, and even if they are happy for you, they're going to want more for themselves, which is human nature. So what I never understood was, I'm the baby of the group. They're biological brothers, and they love me, but all of a sudden we come out and the industry and the label is starting to use the term lead singer, which I've never said because I never considered myself that. But when you look at groups, usually there's a guy that sings a lot of the leads,
Mhm.
but then there's somebody else that's the writer, producer, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when they're kind of both?
Intertwined.
So yeah, and I one thing I wish I had known better how to do, or was more mature enough to understand, was how to manage egos and pick other people up, because my group members were detrimental um, to everything that we were doing. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been possible without them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So I didn't know how to lift them up. I thought, look, we all splitting it even, we all getting it. That's all that matters. But the truth is, human nature says different. And now that I know that, that's why we're able to move the way we move. I do different things outside of the group, but I push them to do other things.
Yeah, that's real. That is most definitely real. So, what would you say is your most memorable moment?
To be honest, I don't really. Somebody asked me that, and I didn't have fun. It was super lonely on the
Mm.
road because I got two group members that are biological brothers. Um, I'm the baby, so I'm already immature. You know what I'm saying? So people would think, okay, all the girls, or I'm doing this medlist, and I'll be in my bunk hearing heavy breathing in my bunk with a book or with some headphones on listening to tracks. But the blessing in disguise was all I could do was focus on my music. So I'm on the road writing these Jaheim records and different things like that. But if I had to say a moment, it would probably be doing something for others, like, surprising my mother with a car, things like that, getting my sister a brand new car off the truck for her graduation. It was always about doing for others, you know what I'm saying? Because I was so caught in the moment, wanting to make sure that I soaked every ounce of success up that I could, that I never took a minute to enjoy it. That's why I try to enjoy moments now that I'm a little older, because I'm 43 myself. And I want to live life to the fullest and enjoy the moments now.
Yeah, yeah. So, just so that people out there would know, how long you been in the game?
Well, since 97, so 23 years now. It'll be 23 years in August, I believe. So yeah, 23 years.
Man, 23 years. Well, so what would be, I would say, the biggest lesson that you've learned?
That it's not really about the music. There's so many behind the scenes politics situations that go on. Um, I wish I'd known to shut up. And what I mean by that is things that I say now that I'm seasoned and I'm an OG. It's taken differently than when I said it when I was wet behind the ears. I felt the same way, spoke the same way. The difference is it had no impact. So as a youngster, it was a whiny kid. Even though I'm writing these records and I'm the one that's putting this vision out there in a lot of instances. Um, I wish I had known that, people would take your name and say you're difficult because you have an opinion, or because, you speak on things. Well, you're there from the beginning, from the inception of creating this. So you have ideas. I didn't know that. So I just spoke up innocently thinking, okay, we're on a team. I'm supposed to say how I feel or what I think. It's not the truth. Well, back then it wasn't.
Mm, mm. Okay, well, Double L, DJ Disspare, I know y'all probably got a question or two for Mr. RL.
Well, my question is, what was that first moment where you was like, I made it, like I'm out? You know what I'm saying? Like, when did you realize it? Like, okay, we made it.
To be honest, let me tell you something funny. So when we first came out, we were on the Money Talk soundtrack. So we were on tour with Chris Tucker. It was Melanie Camacho, then us, and then Chris. So Clive Davis used to have us in this whack ass, excuse my language, whack um, French Connection gear. So he had us dressed like As Yet, which I love As Yet, but he had us in the slacks, and people thought we were way older than we were because the way he had us dressing. We wanted to dress like the Bad Boy artists, which were kind of our label mates because it was through Arista, you know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
Bad Boy. So we never got to do that. But when we came out, Butter Love is doing really well, especially in the Midwest. And the single was going to stores. There wasn't any streaming. And UPS is who used to deliver all the CDs to the stores. They went on strike. and nobody could get the song nowhere because it wasn't how it is now where you stream and download.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this ain't working. And then I'm in New York, and as you guys said in the opener, it was a time when it was rap, especially on the East Coast. I'm staying in KG's house, sleeping on the floor of the back house, and it's Hot 97 and stuff like that. So all you're hearing is Wu-Tang and Bad Boy. So I'm like, I'm not hearing my song. I'm thinking, okay, let me get ready for college. I got to think of something else because, I got a son. I had a son in high school. So it wasn't no games of me going, oh, maybe I can do this. It was, okay, I got to figure something out. But I went to the mall, right in Jersey City, right by the tunnel, whatever mall that is.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little girl singing Butter Love. She had to be like 5 or 6. And as soon as I heard her singing my record, my lyrics, I knew I had made it. I don't know how, but God was like, here you go. I'm going to let you see. So once I realized that it touched somebody, especially that young, because that means your mama or somebody had to be listening to this joint for you to know the words. And that's when I hadn't made no money, still broke, still sleeping on the air mattress in the back house at KG's. But that was the moment I knew that I wasn't gonna have to get a day job.
Yeah, that's dope.
RL, how was it working with Tupac?
Well, I can't say usually, but going to the barbershop, my whole thing was I would always front and act like we met, and he was somewhere in Cuba or something. But in all honesty, I was driving down Sunset in LA. I got a call from Bernard Alexander, and he was like, they need you in the studio tomorrow. I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, you have to record this record. I'm like, what's the record? He's like, go to the record store, get this record, Mr. Mister. And I probably heard it in passing or whatever, but I didn't know it. So I had to go get it, listen to it all night, show up at the studio. And I know it was Tone and Poke that produced it. So I go in the studio, and literally I still wasn't at the point where I was used to recording without my brothers. So it was all new to me. I was just going to the studio and sing my butt off. That's all I knew. Just straight go 100 miles an hour off jump. So I go in the studio and I do that. And I'm like, they're not going to use that. But I just literally 1 or 2 takes, just take these broken wings. I need your hand to come and heal me once again. Just sang as hard as I could, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I get a call from Miss Afeni Shakur. She's asking for my mother's address. I'm like, uh-oh, I must have really messed up. She ended up sending my mother flowers. And I was told that it would be the second single of the project. So I'm all hyped, and I'm in the car again maybe 2 days later, and Miss Shakur calls me, and she goes, we need you back in the studio this weekend. We're shooting the video. I'm like, huh? Okay. While I'm in the car, the radio comes on, Power 106, or what, I think that's the station in LA. All of a sudden, they're like, top 8 at 8 and top 6 countdown. And it's like number 3 on the countdown. I'm like, wait, this second single. They're like, oh no, it's first single. It just started blowing up out of nowhere. And those are those kind of blessings that are unexplainable, but you just know that God is you're heavily favored, you know what I'm saying? So it was just a situation where I got a call. I think at first they wanted Dave Hollister to do it because I know Dave had been on Brenda's Got a Baby and all that. And I don't know what happened, but I'll take it. I'll take those seconds.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Well, man, I mean, there's one question that I ask everybody that comes on the show, okay? Some people laugh. Some people give me a shrug or a look. But, we are on FM, so, it is censored. It ain't crazy. But one question I have to ask is, what is the craziest moment that you have experienced in this business via either the studio or at an event? The craziest moment. Right, I know, right?
That's hard.
Because you had a lot of
yes and no. I can say that, the things that we did when we were younger, being managed or whatever, weren't as bad as people think, because truthfully, for me, having a son in high school, that scared me to the point where I was trying to be super safe. You know what I mean? That was God, like, let me give you an example of what happens when you can be a little reckless and I guess a little irresponsible, which is still a blessing, but it showed me like, okay, let me chill out. You know what I'm saying? Because a child is a big responsibility. But I'd have to say, dealing with janky promoters, I can't say a specific one, but dealing with promoters that probably don't have your bread. We had a show in San Diego where, and I remember it because my family at the time lived in San Diego, so I was super excited. My sister was like a junior or senior in high school. It was this big show, and the audience is there, and they came and told us, look, the promoter don't have your money. What y'all want to do? And we all decided, it was us, Case, I think Montel, who's one of my favorite people in this business, and a few other acts. And we said, you know what? It ain't the audience's fault. It was sold out. The promoter ran off with the money. We did the full show just because. So that's probably a moment where you're like, you know what? It went back to being about singing in the bathroom in high school because of the acoustics, or in the hallway, or, in the basement of my best friend Shiloh's crib. It brought me back to that. And it's those moments where you think things went bad because you didn't get a little paper, a little bag. But in the end, you probably had so much more fun because the audience knew that we hadn't been paid, and they loved it that much more. So it's one of those moments where you're like, it's bigger than us.
So did y'all announce it to how did the audience find out that y'all didn't get paid?
I think that the PA announced it or something like, yo, this show. So they're waiting, they thinking everything's canceled, and they're getting rowdy out there.
Right.
And all of a sudden we like, yo, let's press play, let's go. You know what I'm saying? They thinking they just been, juked out of some bread. So they knew we hadn't been paid. And I think that's made it a party. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So going now into the single. This single is hot, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
This single is hot.
And I'm giving it away for free. Like, I'm literally giving 4 songs away for free off the EP, which is called The Letter J. So it's 3 more records. I'll make sure y'all get that first, but it's free. This is just a taste of what I've been working on to go. Here, y'all can have that. Just be ready. And we shooting 4 videos, a video for each joint. So this is the first video we're shooting next week.
So I have to ask you, what was the mindset behind the song? What got those creative juices flowing and wanted to write? As I was listening to it, I was like, I gotta ask, because this is hot.
For me, number one, I was always a Janet fan, and of course Jimmy and Terry. I've talked to Terry more than Jimmy throughout the years, and it was my first foray into production. I co-produced the track too. And for me, I always take slights as motivation and fuel. And I always have a chip on my shoulder knowing that I was passed over by Jimmy and Terry. I love them. I look up to them as big bro, like utmost respect. So it's nothing personal. It's just that extra motivation. That's my Kobe moment where I use it, or my Jordan moment where I use it to say, okay, I'm gonna show you. And I wanted to take the track and I wanted them to hear it and go, well, dang. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grown. I want to be sexy. I want to be fly and a little dirty. I can't be raunchy no more per se. You know what I'm saying? Like I was when I was, a rabbit, 20, 21 in these streets, but I could still be a little grown, a little something, give it a little edge. So I just wanted to be fly, and I wanted people that's younger to hear it, and cats that are a little bit more seasoned to go, you don't even know what that sample is. You don't even know what that is. Because with the EP, the reason it's called The Letter J is because I flipped a John B record.
Okay.
I flipped this Janet record, and I flipped 2 Jodeci records. So it gives you the familiarity, but at the same time, it sounds like something new and fresh. Now on the album, I flipped Renee and Angela. I flipped The System and something else. There's one other record I flipped as far as the track, because being from Minneapolis, especially growing up in the 80s, there was something about that groove. And I think that's what I brought into, up tempos I've done. If you notice, in comparison to the other groups from our era, we didn't have nobody featured on our record per se, which is, we were jealous as a group. So I don't say that as a slight to them, but we were jealous because we couldn't have that. And then if you really listen to Too Close, that's Christmas rap Curtis Blow. Let's what we sample. Dun, 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 dun. And then lastly, I never liked up tempos, only because I made sex tapes. I wanted to have that tape I put on when a girl coming over. I'm trying to be managed. I didn't even like up tempos because most of the up tempo R&B, you was listening, waiting for the rapper to come on, or it was a familiar sample. And I don't like clubs, so I can't be singing about being we in the club popping bottles, and I'm not trying. Drinking make me sleepy, so I'd rather drink at the house, baby. So that's not even what I'm on. So I had to find ways to take ballad and mid-tempo subjects and put them into a tempo. Like with Just in Case for Jaheim, that we double timed that. I had to write the bridge over the phone. That was my record. I was gonna keep it. I wrote that leaving the studio from recording Butter Love. It came out 3 or 4 years later. But Just in Case was slower. It was just in case I'll make it home tonight. Let me make love. We sped it up. Just in case I'll make it home tonight. Let me make love. So I had to figure out ways to take subjects that meant something more than just a club and speed it up, make it a groove. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
with the album, I'm gonna have that. With this, I just wanted it to be fly and sexy. I do have one joint that got a little groove to it, which is the John B joint. So when y'all hear that, I'm gonna be really excited. I'll make sure y'all get that early too.
Okay. Okay. You still got it.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
I hear it, man. I hear it. I'm like, man, he still got it. You know.
Hey, man. A lot of my kids were made to your music, so I'll tell you that straight. And I've been making slow jam mixtapes since I was like 16. So it's like every single time I drop a mixtape, you're on there at least 4 or 5 times. Like after the like
So yeah. So the single "Get to You," which is a hot single. What I always ask the artist to do towards the end of the interview is just to announce or announce their own single. They want to announce it. Ain't nothing like the artist presenting it to the world here on Come Clean Takeover Radio, and just for the record, it's great to see our people from Africa chiming in. DJ Ktwist, yes, I'm putting you on blast, brother.
Better late than sorry.
But yeah, it's great to have U.S., Canada, and Africa on the line together. We will be pushing this record, RL.
I appreciate y'all.
You got Nerve DJs amongst us. You got Come Clean DJs, Mix Mafia DJs, One Structure DJs. You got several coalitions sitting on here with you.
I appreciate it.
So yeah, you got our support 110%. Okay. Could you let the people know your social medias and your YouTubes and everything?
Well, it's just RL everywhere. You can find me everywhere. JUSTRL. I just try to keep it simple handle, because all I can do is just be me. You know what I mean? So it's just RL.
Yes, sir. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead here and
hold on, chill. Hold on. We let RL introduce this song, and also, can we get some drops for the family so we can promote you with the song?
Of course, that's easy.
Of course,
I just get the scripts to G, and I get them done. I make them dope. You know what I mean? It's nothing.
See,
I can do it in the studio.
I want the people to see this, because I want them to understand this is how well you guys work with us. Because a lot of people, they go out and they make fake ones and all that different stuff to take chops. Like, we reach out to you guys and we promote you the same way you would promote us. So that's why we respect you.
Yeah, and I want to say this. A lot of people think, you can just go on the internet and get a buzz. And I mean, in some ways, I guess that's cool. But organically, the DJ has always been the reason and the way for us artists to be heard. So I appreciate you guys. I mean, the main thing for me, if I'm gonna come clean, is to say that I know that I wouldn't be here without y'all. And that's no cap. I'm not trying to, sit here in front because I'm on camera right now. I know that it's guys like you, all of you guys, that are the reason I'm able to feed my family. So I want y'all to know, like, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, man, I appreciate y'all.
Man,
Respect.
we got nothing but love from you for you, man. Nothing but love. It ain't butter love, no homo, but
It's brother love. Brother love.
brother love. There you go. There you go. So any more questions?
There's another one.
right. Any more questions? Double L or Disspare or even Ktwist?
Yes.
I ain't got no more questions, man.
You got a question out there from Africa, Ktwist?
I'm just loving the show. It's a privilege being working with you guys. Feeling much appreciated. I'm just following up. My internet is a bit low, but trying to catch up. Everything nice. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what it is. That's what it is, man. We really appreciate everything. So, I'm gonna get the drops to you guys, from RL and everything. And RL, if you don't mind, if you could just go ahead and introduce your single to the world.
Yo, what's up? This your boy, Mr. Butterlove, aka RL130 NEXT. And right now I gotta come clean. Check this out. I'm trying to book a flight right now. Cause me on top of you just sounds so right now. What would you do if I was there? Pulling you know what? We're gonna get into it. Check this out. The first joint off the letter J, my new EP coming. Sneak peek. Here's the first single. Get to you.
Let's get it. All right. I appreciate that, RL.
I appreciate y'all, man, for real.
Man, that ain't nothing but love, man. That nothing but love. We really appreciate everything. And I'll be in tune with you, letting you know, through G, concerning, all the times that it'll come on if you want to take a listen.
For sure, I'm going to do that most definitely. Get me the information for the drops so I can get that done. That's the least I can do, man. And I keep my word. So I appreciate y'all, man. And whatever y'all need from me, I'll make sure y'all get the rest of the joint early as well. You can send it out, to your peoples. I'm really excited about it. So let's get it.
All right, bro, man. It's a pleasure having you. Anybody else got anything to say to RL before we let him go? Can't hear you, Double L.
I just want to say it's a pleasure having you on, man. We appreciate you rocking with us, and definitely appreciate you coming on and talking to us and giving us a little background story of how you got on and everything like that, man.
Thank y'all.
This is something special for me because, like we all said, man, I grew up listening to you. I'm 35 years old, so when Butter Love came out, I was really on many stuff. So listen, man, and then the other joints, man, it's a pleasure for me, man, for real.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man, and we'll do this again soon. You already know.
Indeed.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll talk to you later, brother.
I appreciate it. Y'all take care.
Have a blessed day.
You too.
Peace.
Hey, y'all. Great job. What we're going to be doing, I'm going to end out on this. And I am going to, there's the other link that I made that I sent to everybody that was separate for Fredro Starr.
Okay.
Who's come on in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
15 to 17 minutes. And between everybody or what have you, we gonna get it in. So we gonna go ahead and pause right now with the live stream.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and get Fredro on the line, and y'all just make sure y'all click on in to the next one.
Okay, I'll see you in a bit.
All right, see you in a bit.
Are we staying on the same what's the name, or we got a different link?
You got
No, there's a different link. It's in there. It's the second link after this one.
Okay.
All right.